Welcome to the West Virginia University Extension Service video series on frequently asked canning questions. My name is Andy Bennett.
And I'm Gina Taylor. We are West Virginia University Extension agents. We're going to share with you the do's and don'ts of preserving food safely so that you can enjoy your fresh summer harvest all year long.
When selecting your jars, do use a mason-type jar that are made for canning. These jars are designed to withstand the heat and pressure associated with canning.
Don't use jars used for commercially packaged foods. Because they are made of thinner glass, they are designed for economy, not safety.
Do read your recipe completely and prepare what you need for canning. It is important that you have all the necessary ingredients and canning utensils on hand. Ingredients should be clean, cut, and measured before starting.
Don't decide to can at the last minute. If you don't have something you need, you may be tempted to use a substitution in the recipe, or you may have to stop the canning process to gather more ingredients or a utensil which can make the food unsafe.
Do gather or purchase only as much as you can handle within 2 to 3 hours. Remember, the canning process takes a while.
Don't buy too much food thinking that you can can it all in one day just to have it spoil later. Remember, interruptions are a part of everyday life.
Do clean your kitchen, utensils, jars, and all food before canning. It's important to start with clean surfaces and clean food.
Don't think that your food is clean when you purchase or harvest it. Most produce has not been washed thoroughly when purchased, and harvested foods always bring a little soil with them.
Do use the correct process when canning your foods. There are 2 ways to process food. Use a pressure canner for low-acid foods such as meats, poultry, vegetables, and a hot water bath for high-acid foods such as fruit, pickles, and tomatoes.
And don't think just because the jar is sealed that the food is safe. For example, many people believe that it is safe for jars to seal upside down on the counter. Without proper heat and or pressure, sealed jars can also seal in the bacteria.
Do use the proper size jar for the recipe that you're preparing. Jams and jellies should be in a half-pint size jar. Fruits and vegetables need to be in pints or quart jars. Meats need to be in a quart-sized jar.
Don't use half-gallon jars for anything but apple or grape juice. The size of the jar and the size and consistency of the food all affect how heat penetrates the product.
Do follow the canning manufacturer's instructions for heat up and cool down times. This may take a while, but it's part of the canning process.
Don't rush the canning process. Activities such as venting or exhausting your pressure canner and allowing your canner to pressure down at the end are included in the canning time. If you skip these steps, you risk underprocessing your foods.
Do you use recipes from reputable sources such as the USDA, Cooperative Extension, and canning manufacturers?
Don't use resources that are unreliable or outdated, including your grandmother's old canning books and the internet.
Do make adjustments to your canning pressure based on your altitude. Water boils at different temperatures at different altitudes.
Don't guess at your altitude. Check with your county assessor's office to find out the altitude where you live.
When filling your jars, do leave the appropriate headspace for the recipe that you're preparing.
Don't overfill your jars or you may have spillover in your canner, which prevents your jars from sealing. Too little liquid can also cause the food at the top to discolor or lose taste quality.
Do tighten your jars to fingertip tightness.
Don't tighten the band too much or air cannot escape during the canning process.
When buying lids, do replace the flat part each time you can. Jar bands may be reused as long as they are clean and rust-free.
Don't reuse the flat part of a 2-piece lid. The flat is designed to seal one time. Using a flat more than once can cause seal failure.
Do watch the pressure on your canner during the canning process.
Don't leave or forget your canner. Pressure can build up before you know it.
Do remove the weight or petcock at the end of pressure canning and let the canner sit for 10 minutes before opening it.
Don't rush the canning process. Be sure to open the canner lid away from your face to avoid being burned.
Do allow your processed foods to cool away from drafts for 12 to 24 hours undisturbed.
And don't move your jars after you have removed them from the canner. They should stay put to allow the seals to set.
Do store your canned foods by placing them upright in a cool, dry place with little direct light.
And don't tip jars filled with canned foods over, store them on their sides, or place them in direct sunlight.
Do eat canned foods that have been preserved within 1 year. Not only does the quality of the food decrease with time, but the risk of spoilage increases.
And don't can more food than you will eat in 1 year. Also, don't eat canned foods that others give you unless you know when it was canned.
Do have your pressure canner gauge tested at least 1 time per year.
And don't assume that the pressure gauge is correct. You may risk overprocessing or underprocessing your canned goods.
For more information on canning, visit our website at fh.ext.wvu.edu and click on the Food and Nutrition. Thanks for watching our video series on frequently asked canning questions.
West Virginia University Extension Service, people in your community, knowledge at your doorstep.